Hi guys, it's Mark from Burton Bibles. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have got something very special for you. This is a in-depth review of the Family Chronicle Bible from Cambridge. This is a brand new Bible edition for Cambridge, and I have my copy here. It is absolutely huge, and I have had this for the last few weeks, and it has been my intention to get to know this a little bit better so that I can bring you my thoughts on this fantastic new Bible from Cambridge. What we're going to do first though is just insert some footage that I took from the Cambridge shop when I was down there back in September, where we first had a look at this Bible and where I picked up this very edition that I've been getting to grips with at home. And then what we'll do is we'll go down to our desk here and take a close look at this new Bible edition and see what it has got to offer. This will be out, I believe, in early December, but I think there's a possibility that this edition in particular, which is the cloth overboard edition, will be out sooner than that, probably in November. So stay tuned, keep your eye on the Burton Bible's website, and we will certainly have it available there for you to make a purchase should you wish. So let's roll the footage, and then we'll come and have a look at this Bible in closer detail. So a big thing that's coming up shortly for Cambridge is this brand new edition, which is called the Cambridge Family Chronicle Bible edition. Now, this is something that you guys have shown me today, which I don't think I'd expected it to be quite how it has turned out to be. This is a brand new Bible from yourselves, but do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah.
I mean, we've got some in shot here, which we can have a look at.
So this is a Bible we are very, very excited about. So this is something we've been working on for the past 10 years, constantly. You know, it's been in development a long time, and now to have it finally ready, it's a big moment for us. We are seeing it as one of the most significant Bibles we've produced in recent years, definitely. It's a big Bible in more ways than one. A very large size.
Certainly is.
Yes, you can see it here. I think that's one thing that possibly doesn't really come across online, the size and the scale of this edition. I mean, it's something which is completely unrivaled. We haven't done anything like this in recent memory, so it's really, really special. What it is, it's a illustrated family Bible. We've bound it in a choice of cloth or leather bindings. We've also got a limited edition, which we're producing only 500 copies of. This is a Bible which, due to its large size, it's been very, very complex one to produce. A lot of hand binding techniques have been employed in this Bible. We've had a lot of focus on the images, getting those not only printing correctly but also represented correctly. So each image has been worked on individually by 2K Denmark. The typesetting has been inspired by a very famous Bible that we produced in 1763, which is a Baskerville Bible. I think I mentioned it. This is a Bible which has often been hailed as one of the most beautiful Bibles ever produced. And for that reason, we wanted to pay homage to that with this edition, bringing back the Baskerville typeface as it was represented in that edition. Lots of beautiful ligatures, specifically the S and the T are kind of connected in a really interesting way.
Yeah, that was lovely.
Such a beautiful, readable typeface. And I mean, here it is. Should we have a look?
Yeah, let's have a look.
So we have available today to show you the black calfskin edition and the blue cloth-bound edition. This here is the black calfskin, so it comes in a lid and tray box. As you can see, this is one of the illustrations from Gustave Doré reproduced here on the front. Unboxing this Bible. Here it is.
If you can, Abby.
If I can.
Very
it's a
heavy.
very heavy Bible. We've got a little flap here on the box which allows you to take it out a little bit easily.
Yes.
Because it's a very heavy Bible, it's very big, and it does require some power.
Some muscle power, yes.
So you can take it out this way, sliding it out here, And here we go. This is a black calfskin binding. It's got gold blocking edging on the front, as well as a blind blocking line inside the perimeter. It's also got on the spine raised spine hubs and a red leather panel here.
That is a beautiful spine by all accounts.
Thank you.
Absolutely
Well, again,
wonderful.
this is something, really the whole cover design of this one was influenced by the Baskerville Bible. Again, you know, some of this artwork that you can see on the blind blocked border here has come from the Baskerville Bible. It also had this red panel on the spine, so really it's taking a lot of inspiration from that original edition. And when you open it up, you can see this edition has interesting end papers. So these are some of the maps. We've got a couple of maps here, and there's two at the back as well to feature as the end papers. It then leads into an extensive Family Chronicle section. So this is where you can record information about your family, 6 generations of family history. The space here for the current immediate family, followed by parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and then onto your spouse's family here. Again, going back down the line.
Wow.
And then eventually a section for children and grandchildren, so allowing you to record into the future as well. And because of this extensive Family Chronicle section, we're seeing this as really quite an heirloom piece. So
definitely.
a family heirloom, something which, you know, you'll be passing down to your children, to your grandchildren. It'll definitely be an edition that will outlive you.
Us all, yes.
Exactly. Outlive everyone. And this is why I think we're seeing this edition as something so special, because we're seeing it as something which will be preserved for many, many years to come. You know, 100, 200 years in the future, you know, people will be looking at these thinking, you know, wow, this is what was recorded back in these days. So yeah, there's also information at the back, space at the back to include family events or any other important notes that you might wish to feature. And then into the Bible itself, it's a KJV Bible. We've got the Old and New Testaments, and it's fully illustrated. So I'll skip to bit in the front. This is Adam and Eve, as you can see. It's all of these illustrations are by the artist Gustave Doré. We've got 221 illustrations in this Bible, and they all take up a full page like this. So every single one of these illustrations has been worked on by 2K individually to bring out the light and the dark, to just add that drama to the images, and I think the result is stunning. I mean, it's really nice to be able to see them at this scale as well, and it's something which is very special. You know, you can flick through and
these are really nice. The whole typeface and the whole layout is absolutely stunning, and the paper, it's worth mentioning, this paper, Abby, is so thick and luxurious. It really does feel significant.
This is actually a 60-gram paper that we've printed it on. So when you compare it to our lightest weight of paper, 28-gram, you know, you can instantly imagine the difference. We've also got a heavier grade of paper for the Family Chronicle section at the front. So this is a
it feels like
140-gram paper.
Right.
Just because we know that a lot of people will be writing in this quite extensively, so we wanted something which would really stand up well to that at the front.
And it will definitely take a fountain pen as shown in the video.
Yes, it will. Absolutely. Well, that's something that we've had to bear in mind really when developing this. And you can see, like you say, the pages, when you turn them, it's just got a certain feel to it. I mean, this is a big Bible. You can see, if I have it on me here, the size of this piece. And actually, because of that, I mean, this font, I mean, it's beautiful typeface. It really is. I mean, some of the ligatures here are just stunning. It's also very, very readable and clear.
Oh, yes.
And it's a size 13 font as well. So you'll have no problems reading this.
No.
And it's quite a nice edition to be able to sit with in an evening, you know, have it out, read to the family, read for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's something which is unlike anything we've ever done before. And I think, we're very proud of it.
Well, you should be. I mean, I think I said as soon as I saw it, I had no idea it was going to be that big from the promotional material that I'd seen. It still did not fully sum up what it's like in the flesh. It's big, it's heavy, it feels beautiful, it looks beautiful, and I think I said it has real wow factor, and it certainly has got wow factor.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's an astonishing thing, and I think we mentioned, didn't we, that this is unique for Cambridge. This is something you've not really done on this scale before.
Not in recent years, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So we're very, very proud of the way it's turned out, and just to be involved in a project like this. I mean, like I say, it's been many years in development, in the making. We've put a lot of thought into this just to get every detail right. You know, it's something which we wanted to be something of a wow factor, a statement piece, but also something which will last, will, you know,
definitely
age well. And I think we've definitely achieved it here. I mean, this is the black calfskin leather binding.
Yeah.
We've also got a more contemporary cloth binding here.
Yes, I particularly like this. I think it's very, very nice, very attractive.
Comes in this slip case here, so Family Chronicle Bible.
Yeah.
And on the front, so this is blocked with one of the illustrations from Gustave Doré, really blown up on the front and the back as well. And turn it over and you can see it there. There's silver foil lettering down the spine.
Yeah, it's really attractive.
The interior of this, so it's exactly the same in terms of the family pages and the record section. It's printed on the same paper. The one difference is the end pages. So we have
some of the
Moses
illustrations
here, crossing the Red Sea. You can see Moses up there and the sea coming in. So this is
bringing in the poor Egyptians. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on the back,
it's lovely.
Turning this over, you've got obviously Christ and the cross. So again, this has been blown up a lot. You can really see the wood grain, the engravings. I mean, all these illustrations were done on a block of wood, so cutting into the wood, inking it over and printing that way. They've all been taken from original printings in 1866.
How big were those original engravings, Abby, do you know?
I'm not sure actually.
Yeah, I mean, would they have been the same size as this?
They weren't too dissimilar from this size. I mean, what we've used for this edition is we have 2K managed to secure an original printing of the Bible that Gustave Doré illustrated in 1866.
Right.
And that's what we've used to scan these images into. In terms of exactly how big, I couldn't tell you, but it's very, very similar actually to the size and scale that they're reproduced here.
Well, 2K have certainly done a good job of reproducing them in any case.
Absolutely. I mean, they've scanned these original printings in, you know, much higher resolutions than is necessary for printing, worked individually on each one. And we've had to test the printing a lot as well, because something like this, I mean, there's a lot of ink on the page, so the first consideration obviously we had was to try and minimise the show through, and this is where we needed a heavier grade of paper, to be honest, to keep that show through down. There's an image on the back there.
Well, that's again, there's no bleed through, there's no ghosting.
There's no bleed through,
really
and this is where the selection of the materials has been specifically important. I mean, you can see the density of this image here. To print this well is very, very difficult, and Lego have done a fantastic job printing this. We've kind of had a lot of proofs looking at this, and just to get this level of detail right with not only the scanning but also the printing too. It's quite a feat. And you can see on the other side of the page, if I can turn the page. An illustration again.
Well, is that the format though, that the illustrations are back to back sort of thing?
Not always.
Oh, okay.
They are sometimes. I'm going to try and find one now where the text is the other
where
side.
there isn't one doubled, there we go.
Oh, hang on.
There we go.
Here we go.
So there's an example.
So you can see an example here. So this is an illustration on this side of the page. Just the text on that side of the page.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
But the show through, I mean, this is obviously white space, and still it doesn't affect the readability at all. And that was something which we really had to think about quite carefully. I mean, we could have printed on thicker papers, but then the bulk of the book just
would be
went
a
up
lot
so
heavier
much.
than it already is.
We actually tried on an 80-gram paper, and the bulk, I mean, I don't know if you can see this. Currently,
it must be
this thick. I think it's about
6
centimetres
Right,
thick.
okay,
So,
a little bit over 2 inches,
over 2 inches.
It's a big book.
And with an 80-gram paper, it went out to about about 1.5 times the size of this. So really, it was very, very important to try and get the details right on this, and that's what we've been working on all these years, really, just going through everything individually, just really thinking about how this will be used and how it will be presented and printed.
It's been a labour of love.
It has, absolutely. And yeah, we are very excited to start getting this out. So
well, it certainly is a stunning edition. It's been fantastic to see it here today, and I hope it really does go well for you. Yeah, I think it's another good thing which brings family into the Bible as well, and centres it around the Bible. So that can only be a good thing in my view. So,
I know, looking at this, we've been trawling through a lot of old illustrations of Victorian family homes where the father's been sat with this massive tome, reading to the children. Yeah, just to think of reproducing something like that, something that special with that connection to the family. I think that's really where we've come from with this, and yeah.
I think the illustrations are actually really quite nice, particularly as it is a family-centred Bible, just purely because the illustrations can provoke comment, and as you were flicking through, a few of verses were coming to my mind, like with the conversion of Saul.
Yes.
I was thinking of how he heard a voice but saw no man, and he said, "Lord, what was thou have me to do?"
Yes.
And I think it's very provocative, isn't it?
Let there be light. Like you say,
right.
It just kind of instantly conjures these pictures. It just helps. It helps it really it be imagined as
absolutely
to the reader. And I think this is something which we've considered with the design of this Bible as well. So you'll see it's a text Bible, no references, no concordance, no study materials. It really is just the Bible text. So it's the text of the KJV. And the illustrations, and so really you can be reading this, and it's like reading a story. You can get into the text, visualize what it's saying, really connect with the words. There's no distractions here. It's all about that story, and I think that's something we really wanted to bring out of this as well. Well,
I think it's well, I really like these title pages for the books as well. They're very nicely done.
So interestingly, this line here, we've got this detail, and again, that was something that we drew inspiration from the Baskerville Bible.
The original.
So we were looking at it. We've got a copy. We're lucky enough to have a copy of the original in our press museum, in our offices, and it's fabulous to sit and go through that. I mean, the Baskerville Bible, it was twice as big as this one. Even it was humongous, but it was such a stunning Bible, such an important Bible, and we wanted to really make sure it shined through this edition as well. It was kind of brought back in some way, and this paid homage to that edition. And so all these tiny little details that you see have come from there, and it's really nice to kind of appreciate that connection and revive it in some way, make it live on now.
Well, yeah, it's certainly I think it would be well worth coming back to have a look at the original, to be honest, but this is certainly a beautiful Bible. Very good. No, very nice indeed. Yes, this will definitely be coming out by courier. I don't think your postie will thank you for that. Okay, so here we are with the Cambridge Family Chronicle Bible. Now, this Bible has been 10 years in the making. And I first saw this when I went down to Cambridge a few weeks ago and met with the team at Cambridge Bibles, and they were pleased to show me this. This is one of the early copies of the Family Chronicle Bible. This is one of the 3 binding types that is available. This is the cloth over board binding style, and there are also 2 other leather options which we will go through shortly. Now, the Bible, as I said, has been 10 years in the making, so there's an awful lot of work which has gone into this particular Bible. It has involved an international team of experts, people from Denmark, Italy, the UK, and many other places, I am sure. Now, it's actually a sort of reimagining, or based upon the work of a certain Mr. John Baskerville, and it heavily draws influences from the Baskerville Bible of 1763. Now, John Baskerville was an English printer in the 18th century, and the pinnacle of his career was being appointed to the chief printer at Cambridge University Press, and that is where he produced his Folio Bible, which is a large format Bible. Only 1,200 were produced, and it's often hailed as one of the finest and most beautiful Bibles ever made. Now, Baskerville was a true innovator. When he was preparing and developing his Baskerville Bible, his folio Bible, he wanted it to be unlike any other Bible made. He wanted a sharpness and a quality and a gloss to it. So he used a highly glossed paper in his Bible and a black ink which he actually manufactured and invented himself. And that is how he got such a good quality and finish to the printing in his Bible. Now, Baskerville itself remained a popular typeface right through to the 1960s, and 2K have reimagined and breathed upon, if you like, that Baskerville font, and they've created it, and it's called Baskerville 1757 Pro. And here it is a 13.5 point font, which we'll have a look at shortly. And even today, you can open up a Word document and write in Baskerville font, which I think is really cool. So the Family Bible is a thing from the Victorian times, really, is where I think it was at its most popular. And the Family Bible was, again, a large format Bible that was something of a traditional centerpiece for the family at that time. It was large, it was ornate, it had a large text for easy public reading and in dim light as well amongst the family circle, and there were usually illustrations throughout the Bible which made for easy teaching, object lessons, and allowed younger folk to imagine the Bible stories. And of course it would generate some discussion and comment from those illustrations. And it was often a sacred and cherished object in the family home. And usually there were pages before the Bible where the family would fill in their details, their siblings, their children, their grandchildren, their marriages, births, deaths, things like that. And so often these Bibles were then handed down from generation to generation, and that information grew within the Bible. And of course, in those days, things like public records and registrations and things like that were far less common and prevalent than they are today. So these were really quite important books from an information point of view as well. Now, just to move on to the Cambridge Family Chronicle Bible then, so this is seeking to do the same thing. It's forming a centerpiece at the heart of the family. It's bringing the family around the Bible once again, and it's looking to draw the reader and the listener in with illustrations and with a nice clear text as well. And so I really appreciate that idea of being the centre point of a family, and the family engaging with the scriptures and discussing them and enjoying them as a family pastime and a family interest. So that's the premise of this edition. And here we have the cloth overboard binding. I'll just draw it out of the sleeve so you can take a better look at it. Now, this sleeve is really heavy duty card. There's a lot of information on the back there should you wish to pause that at any stage. I would like to just point out there's a nice little board insert here which just supports the text block when it's stood upright. So that's nice to see. And this blue and orange detailing that we have here, blue and orange design, is really quite eye-catching and striking. It features an illustration from Gustave Doré. This is called Fire and Water. And I have to say that I'm a big fan of this blue and orange colour scheme. It really does draw the eye. It's very eye-catching. It's a real conversation starter and talking point in the home. Now, as I hold this Bible in my hands and as I turn it around, hopefully you'll be catching all of the details, such as the blue gilt page edges, the lovely single blue ribbon that we have here, the silver on blue is really quite beautiful. But this volume is very heavy. It's £8, so it's 3.6 kilograms, so it's very heavy. It's not going to be a portable edition. It is going to live happily on your table or on your desk and in your lap for the reading experience. It's also very large. It's nearly 13 inches tall. It's 10 inches across, and it is 2¼ inches thick. So this really is a behemoth of a Bible, so to speak. But I think you'll see when we get inside how it benefits by being that big, because those illustrations and that font and that text all have the space to breathe within this edition. Now, we'll quickly point out the fact you get two inserts. One will explain to you how to fill in the Family Chronicle element of it, and the other is a nice little brochure about the history and legacy of the Baskerville Bible and of this Family Chronicle Bible. So it will tell you about the illustrations and the people involved as well. So that's nice to get that information in this edition too. Just from a size standpoint again, if we quickly compare it to something like the time-honoured Cambridge Chronicle, you'll see that it really is a huge Bible, and it makes this Concord look almost like a pocket reference Bible, doesn't it? So it's very big and it's quite heavy. Now, I think you saw the end papers there when I opened it, so you'll see that it features an illustration from Gustave Doré again. Here we have the parting of the Red Sea, so we have Moses and the children of Israel here, and the Egyptians about to be engulfed in the Red Sea, so that's nice. There's also one on the back as well. And as we get into the Bible, you'll see that there is these Family Chronicle pages. There's quite a few of these, so you can fill in quite a bit of information. It's on 140 gram sort of cardstock paper, which is very nice indeed, sort of a buff colour. So there's a fair few pages for you to fill in, should you wish to. It will certainly take a fountain pen if you want to use one of those. And then when we get to the actual text block itself, we'll notice that the paper changes. This is now a 60 GSM, so a very thick paper indeed. And I have to say that one of the standout features that I really appreciate about this edition is the paper. It's beautiful. It feels great in the hand, it sounds great, and it holds the ink wonderfully. It's extremely opaque, and it needs to be because of those illustrations and that large font text. So it really does a good job of bearing those details out. Now we'll see on our information page the fact that it is printed and bound in Italy by Lego. Lego, I will say, have done a fantastic job of this Bible. I really do think that they have done a great job. And we'll see the typesetting information there, 13.5 point Baskerville font, and that's by 2K in Denmark. And of course there's a 2021 Bible from Cambridge University Press. So we do have a list of contents, we have the letter to King James, and then we have a list of the illustrations as well. Now there are 221 illustrations in this Bible, and they take up a full side of the page. So you're really getting a lot of illustrations which are absolutely beautiful. So that's what you're buying into when you buy a Bible like this. I mean, the paper alone must cost quite a bit. There's an awful lot of paper here, there's an awful lot of card here, and there's so much skill and production quality here that I think this Bible retails for £190, and to be honest, you can see where it's all been spent. So we have our list of illustrations, and you can refer to them quickly if you need to. And here is an example of what we're talking about: the illustration on one side of the page and the beautiful Baskerville King James Version text on the other side. You'll notice that it's a 2-column format. There is a big ornate sort of book header, and in red there is a little chapter breakdown at the top. The chapters are not in the usual place of a Bible, at the top in one of the corners. They're actually in the middle at the bottom here. So you'll notice all the chapters are there. Now each illustration has a sort of a caption underneath it. Here we have the creation of light, and you'll see something of the beauty and the grandeur of these illustrations. And I will say that Cambridge have done a fantastic job of pairing them to the text, so you'll never find an illustration slightly out of kilter or on the wrong page, or it always marries up beautifully with the text across the page from it. So here we have the formation of Eve, and Adam and Eve being driven out of the garden. There's the angel with the sword in his hand, and then we have the murder of Abel by Cain. So you can see already we're getting a lot of illustrations already in the book of Genesis. So we have the world destroyed by the flood, and we have the ark there. I think that's resting upon Mount Ararat. So you'll notice that these illustrations are absolutely beautiful. They are quite evocative. They are the illustrations are evocative. They embody sort of very real images, sometimes quite dark. So you have a lot of bodies and corpses here and things like that. On some of them, you'll have to make a judgment about children, I suppose. I mean, in particular, I went to 1 Samuel 17, and we have Goliath being decapitated by David, and David is holding aloft Goliath's head, as you can see there. So there's quite a lot of more adult themes, shall we say, but nevertheless that's all in the scriptures anyway, and of course it gives you a talking point for your children, and I'm sure that will hold their interest, but that's up to you to decide how to handle that. But I think you can see as well from the text just how beautiful this text is. It's wonderful. There's 2 columns, it's a paragraph format, and that 13.5 point font really does jump out of the page. Now, if I just hold this up, you'll begin to see some of the beauty of this font. In particular, I like the way the S and the T join. So you'll have a word like knowest, and you can see there that it's a very ornate and elegant typeface indeed. And of course, the title Christ has the S and the T together, so it really does give a beauty to that title of the Lord Jesus. And there's also nice little downstrokes on the G and the Y and things like that, which really make this a beautiful font indeed, as befits an edition such as this. So we won't go through the whole of the Bible, but suffice to say it continues in that vein, with a lot of illustrations and this beautiful, big, bold King James Version text. Now, there's nothing in the back of the Bible, so to speak. There's no concordance or anything like that, and there's no maps either. In fact, the Bible ends with Revelation 22 and the New Jerusalem coming down, the eternal state. So it really is quite an interesting Bible indeed. Now, the illustrations are very sort of their time, shall we say, but they are very grandiose and very vivid, sometimes dark, of course, as I've said, but there is a solemnity to these illustrations, and I think they pair well with the poetic cadence and imagery of the King James Version text that we all know and love. So it really is a befitting marriage, if you like, of these two things together: the wonderful illustrations and the King James Version text in this Baskerville font. So I think I've given you a little taste, and I've given you my thoughts on this edition, and it is a wonderful thing. If you're interested in this Bible, do stay tuned to the channel and to the website, because I'll be putting a lot more information about this Bible. They will be available to pre-order very, very soon. In fact, this edition will probably be out and available within the next few weeks. They're slightly ahead of schedule on this particular edition. The other two bindings are leather. There is a black calfskin and a brown calfskin overboards. The brown calfskin is limited edition. There'll only be 500 numbered copies of that particular edition. The black calfskin is, I think that retails for £525, but it is an absolutely beautiful edition. I've seen it in the flesh. And the brown calfskin limited edition retails for £675. Now, that's obviously a lot of money, but you know, there's a lot of paper, there's a lot of beautiful illustrations, the production quality is phenomenal. All of these Bibles have been hand finished in some form or another because of their size and their weight. So you're getting a handcrafted Bible that is extremely significant and certainly can be passed down and is worthy of being passed down the generations in your family. So a wonderful centerpiece, a wonderful flagship Bible from Cambridge, once again bringing the best of Bible publication techniques and modern printing to the fore with this edition. So I'm a massive fan of it, and like I said, I really appreciate that any product or any Bible which seeks to draw people into it and gather the family around, and once again put the scriptures and the Word of God where they belong, at the centre of the family. So it's a wonderful thing, and like I said, if you're interested, stay tuned to the channel and to the website, and we'll keep you up to date when these become available. So I hope you found that interesting. Take care, God bless, and we'll catch up on another video soon. Bye bye.